Hello and welcome everyone. This is your astrology forecast for partial new moon solar eclipse in Aries. And so this one is the closing eclipse of the series of eclipses that began in April of 2023. And this is the axis of Aries and Libra. Me versus you and I. It has to do with the self, with our identity, with who we think we are, how we represent ourselves, our personality, our identity, our individuality. And it's a lot about how we deal with the self and the other. It's a lot about our role in relationships, our one-on-one relationships, our experiences with others and experiences with ourselves, how we feel when we are alone and how we feel when we are sharing with others. It's a lot about, partnerships, balance, relationships, and our own needs versus other people's needs, and how can we stand up for ourselves. And this is the closing eclipse, but it's the new moon. So it's some kind of ending, but it's also beginning. And eclipses always have that kind of effect of endings and beginnings. And it's very powerful because this one is really giving us a full speed to go into something new. And it's new moon and it's in Aries, in the first sign. So it's the first spark of light, the first initiating light that creates something. It's a very creative, highly creative potential, very, very powerful, and the energy is very fiery. It's very fiery, and it's so fiery that it can become freezing. When we reach some extreme, that extreme can turn into its opposite extreme, and we are going to be given new opportunities for new ideas for the shape of our life, and these will be more emotionally relevant. And eclipses are big events that bring life-changing events. And I also spoke about eclipses in previous video, and previous one was about the total lunar eclipse in Virgo. And this period between two eclipses is really tremendously intense, and so many things are coming up. Everything that we've been ignoring, denying, avoiding is bubbling up, and we may feel emotionally overwhelmed, but also physically drained and exhausted, and we may feel like something big and heavy hit us. But this is something that really allows us to finally do something new for ourselves, to stand up for ourselves. And we actually start to live what's better for us, and what we've been wanting for a long time. And this is something that began around April of 2023. But these are, important cycles, big cycles that are related to previous cycles that date back many years ago. And the last time this same series of eclipses was active was between April of 2004 and March of 2006. And also it was between the end of 2013 and somewhere March, April of 2016. So 2004, 2006, 2013, 2016. And now we've been through this similar cycle and similar lessons again between April of 2023 and now. But eclipses are felt for a very long time. They have a 6-month effect and impact. So all of you and us who have some personal planets and important points in chart in Aries, Libra, Cancer and Capricorn will feel this the most. And These are, key areas of your life, so big things are happening, big things are being initiated, and we definitely have to do something new for ourselves. And this could be new identity. This is something that deals with new personality. And it's amazing time because this is happening on the 29th of March. This solar eclipse is the culmination. But of course, as I always say, these energies are felt 4 to 6 weeks before and 4 to 6 weeks after their exact date. And we now have this aligned with everything else that is going on. And on the 20th of March, we had a spring equinox in the northern hemisphere. And this is something that really gives us that boost of newness, of freshness, of rebirth. It's astrological new year, and it's a very powerful time. It's the time when cardinal cross is being created, and this cardinal cross resets and reshapes the whole atmosphere, all 4 elements. It resets them, and it's just like turning the wheel and turning the key in the lock, so we can unlock something new for ourselves. And it's very good to have this, because it can show us new perspectives and new aspects of who we are. But we may be faced with illusions of who we think we are. So as I said in previous video, when we had this lunar eclipse in Virgo, we have to allow ourselves to fall apart in order to recreate ourselves, to recreate our identity. Because if we hold on too strongly to our identity, to who we think we are going to add to suffering, because everything is about evolving and changing, but keeping the essence, keeping that spark, that inner light to shine. And it's something that is showing us that we are unbreakable. So we are about to see, where are we unbreakable? And when the sun rises, the stars are hidden. So this is what we are going to experience now, something similar. The sun will rise. This is the Aries, the first house. This is where the sun rises. This is the ascendant. And it's showing us something that we didn't expect. And we are going to have completely new eyes. We are going to see some things with completely new eyes. And we are on the quest for that golden fleece. This is the myth of the Argonauts and the golden fleece, Aries, the ram. And it's all about gaining the true independence and true authenticity. And I highly recommend for all of you to check out, we are going to put in the description below, we have Eclipse Season Guided Meditation Audio and Essentials Gift. And you can find this in the description below this video. And it's really, really something that has the power to put you in that place where you can see the sunrise, but also the stars that are hidden. We can have the 360-degree view of everything. We can see what's going on all around us, and not just parts, not just hidden parts, or just those parts that are shown to us that we are looking at. No, we can see the bigger picture. And it's very powerful to know that there is the bigger picture, And this is some new chapter, completely new chapter, brand new initiation, brand new feelings, highly creative energy. And this eclipse is not making any aspects with any other planet, except that it makes, of course, conjunction with the sun. But there is no other aspects with anything else. So it's very potent there, infinite potential is there. It's the 0 point. Aries, the first sign, the first house, the first spark, the moment when we are born. And when the baby is born, the head comes out first in most cases. So this is the Aries, the head. And it's really feeling the self. And the affirmation of I am is very important, of course, always with Aries archetype. But we can, see it in many different ways. So the focus should be on self-validating, on self-assertiveness, on self-confidence. And of course we are going to enter some battles, egocentric battles with our own egoic wants and needs. And we are going to see reality in a completely new way. For all of us, we are going to see ourselves in a new way. This is about really being brutally honest with ourselves and accepting ourselves without any need for justification or explanation. And we are definitely stretching our perspectives. And new moon symbolize new beginnings that are seeded in darkness. These are seeds that have been planted in the darkness. So let's see, all of us, let's ask ourselves, what seeds have I been planting in the darkness? When I was in the darkness, what seeds did I plant? So we are now going to see the growth of these seeds. And this is really energetic time. It's impulsive, it's action oriented, it's Aries, the ram, going no matter what, doing what I want to do, my way or highway. And it's about the will. It's about wanting something. I have the will, I want to do it, and I'm going to do it. There is no trying. There is no, I'm going to try this or I'm going to try. No, this is taking risks and just doing it. This is about the desire. This is a great sexual potential as well. This is anger. This is courage. This is boldness. This is about being daring. Dare to do something that you've always been afraid to do. Of course, not doing something foolish and highly risky, but something we all know what that is, and we will be shown what that is. Standing up for ourselves, being in that mode of a warrior, of a true warrior. And it's a lot about assertion, aggression, violence, conflict, war, and weapons. Of course, this is Mars. It's martial energy. It's the Martian. The March is also the month of Aries, and the spring equinox, and the new year, the new astrological year. This is the first breath, our first breath. And we may feel like we are now taking our first breath. And these are, this is about shining that light onto everything that we've been ignorant about. And this is an invitation for celebrating our own resurrection. And it's direction into something that makes us really feel like we are invincible, like nothing can stop me, nothing is impossible, there is no alternative, there is no way that this is not going to work, this is going to work, not even this is going to work, this is working, this is it, like I'm doing it now. And there is no other option. There is no option for failure at all. This is something definitely successful. And we are being kissed by the fire, and the ruler of this eclipse is Mars, and Mars is still in Cancer. Mars is still in Cancer until the 18th of April, and it's been a long journey. Mars has been in Cancer first between September and November. Then Mars retrograded back into Cancer on the 6th of January. Then Mars stationed direct around the end of February, and it's still in its post-retrograde shadow period. but we are feeling the boost. We are feeling that things are moving forward. Finally, things are moving forward, and this eclipse will show us results of what we've been working on during these previous 6 months. We are going to finally see results, and we are going to pick up, to bear fruits. Aries invokes the archetype of the sacred warrior, and some stories, our personal stories, the story of myself, needs to be reframed, and some parts of it may need to be burned. And this is the fire, kissed by fire of Mars and Aries. We need to throw something into the fire, to throw it in the flame. This is, Mars in Cancer, of course, is in its fall, but this doesn't mean that it's bad there. Mars in Cancer is very protective, but also very defensive, and can be very passively aggressive because it cannot express itself fully. But we've been through these lessons these last couple of months. We've experienced these lessons strongly, and it has been tough, it has been intense, but now there is something that will also come up, and we have to deal with it in a new way. And this is some kind of anger, and this could be ancient anger of our ancestors, and we may be dealing with anger of our ancestors, so we have to channel it in the right way. We have to do something with it constructively, and not to be self-destructive or destructive. Anger is not bad. Anger can be used in a very powerful way. We need anger. We live in this realm where anger is very present, and it really teaches us a lot. Anger is not our enemy. Actually, nothing is our enemy. And Mars in Cancer, the ruler of this solar eclipse, can bring us conflicts, of course. It can bring that violence. It can bring passive aggression. And if we've been putting up with something for a long time, we may see bursts of anger around us, with people we know, on the collective level, on the individual level, within our families, because Mars in Cancer is related to family and those who feel like family, and mother issues, father issues, sense of belonging, being rejected, being resented, feeling like we are not taken care of, having a need to be taken care of. And if we are not taken care of, if we don't get any attention, we can, become very mad and angry and demanding. This is Mars in Cancer. It has many different sides, of course, but the highest qualities of this is gaining emotional strength and being very courageous to deal with anything, to digest all emotions, no matter what, to just burn them with that fire, and to learn to swim in those deep emotional waters, and also to learn to burn down all those emotions that are burning us. So this is very powerful time, and fire is related to spirit, and fire and water are very strong now, because we have a lot of forces in Pisces. We have Saturn in Pisces, North Node in Pisces, Venus recently re-entered Pisces. Venus retrogrades back into Pisces on the 27th of March. And we are going to be faced with those things too, with dealing with understanding what love is, what forgiveness is, what unconditional love is, and we may see where we have some work to do, and what are our values, our priorities, and how connected we are with our soul, with the spirit, with things that are invisible and intangible, with our deepest and darkest fears, with our deepest and darkest aspects of ourselves. Can we handle them? Can we handle other people's deepest and darkest fears and expressions or non-expressions, addictions, anxieties? our own or those who are close to us. We are definitely going through something very purging, and this is a big spring cleaning, big spring cleaning, and the fire of Aries and solar eclipse really holds that potential for purging everything that is toxic. And the moon is the symbol of our innermost feelings and emotional foundations, the basis. And the moon is the ruler of Cancer, and the moon is now in Aries, and the ruler of Aries is Mars, and Mars is in Cancer. So we may definitely be dealing with a lot of those emotional foundations, and some of them may be torn apart. And the sun represents everything from our ego to our physical identity and soul purpose on the planet. And when both of these luminaries come together, anything is possible. And they come together now. The sun and the moon come together. And it's very not only action oriented, but it's definitely something that has the power to show us new possibilities that we have never ever dreamed of before. And Mars is the initiator, the pioneer, the warrior. So all these archetypes are now very strongly triggered within ourselves, our will and our drives. What drives you? What motivates you? What inspires you? What is your passion? These are big questions now. And do you have courage to do things that you are passionate about? Do you have courage to follow your passion? And it's also about our actions and our reactions. These things very, very important now. How we deal with our reactions, how we react. And the Aries in us, the Aries part in us meets life head on. We have those horns and we are walking just head on. And this is where the fire of our will is direct, it's immediate, and it's spontaneous. But it's also, me first. This is Aries, me first, representing our individuality and unique self-expression. And of course, self-love. But self-love, it depends a lot, where it comes from, this self-love. And it can be seen as being selfish or self-serving. This is a time when we are experiencing a breath of fresh air. It's a restart. It's a big restart for our personalities. Our personalities are going through a reset process, and we are going to feel resurrected. And of course, Aries part in us does teach us to put ourselves first and to stand up for ourselves. This is the sign of the warrior. And the ruler of this solar eclipse, Mars, is making a harmonious and positive and friendly trine with Saturn in Pisces. And this can be very helpful because this is something long-term, something that has stability, something that has spiritual quality too. And it's about gaining that emotional support and building emotional structure that is strong and that is going to last. And we are going to be helped. We are going to have all the necessary courage to dive deep within our emotional depths and caves and to build something that is long-lasting there. And Saturn is in Pisces, in the water sign. Mars is in Cancer, in the water sign. So we are touching the source of our emotional projections. We are getting to the source to the roots of our emotional foundations. And we are going to reveal those subconscious fears and ancestral karmic patterns, and we will be able to manifest some of our forgotten dreams, maybe dreams that we completely thought are lost and impossible. This is the time when anything is possible, and we are willing to be with ourselves as opposed to abandoning ourselves in moments, when we don't really like what we are feeling. We are now able to be with ourselves fully, not to run away. There is no running away from this. And we cannot run away from ourselves. This is, solar eclipse in Aries. The spotlight is on me, on the self. And, we are not sure about what we have, if we have that inside of us, but we are doing it anyway. And we don't know what's going to happen, but we are doing it anyway. And this is the time when we are really self-assured, and the attitude of I can do this is very important and can be quite helpful in all situations that we are going through now. I can do this, or just there are no excuses, as I said. And this is an inner call to begin something, to explore, to discover, to develop. And this is the 0 point, and it's a starting point, and this is where the energy is birthed and manifested. And the spring equinox, the equal amount of day and night, this is the light and the darkness, that this is the same amount of light and the darkness within ourselves, and we are going to witness our own light and darkness, and they are going to meet each other, and they shouldn't be in conflict. This is the sun and the moon coming together, and the eclipse is here to eclipse something out, to show us what is inside of us, and to give us a chance for something new and different. And we are bringing the light and darkness in balance. This is our task, and the nature awakens and suggests the victory of the light. This is what has been celebrated always in all cultures and traditions, the time of the equinox. And it doesn't matter which hemisphere you live in, the southern or the northern hemisphere. This is the time when the light wins. And it's not about actually winning. It's not the competition between light and dark. It's just the time when we can see the darkness and the light within us, and we choose the light, but we appreciate the darkness. And we have a hard task here now, because we need to be courageous and daring, as I said. This is the celebration of light and fertility, of rebirth and rejuvenation. And it's very powerful to look at the rising sun during these times, to feel alive again, to receive that new birth of the sun. That's why it's very powerful to be together with the sunrise, to live with the sunrise, to embrace, to receive the first rays of the sun, because these first rays of the sun have very healing powers, and we absorb those rays through the skin and through our eyes and through our hair too, through our head too. So we can absorb this, and we can be in connection with those first rays of the sun. And it is likely that some surprising or perhaps even shocking information may enter our world, but this is very awakening, something very awakening, and it can have a deep and confronting aha moment. This is a time when we say, wow, yeah, now I see it. Now I see it. I was blind. But now I see. We received the new vision. We have the vision finally. We are opening our eyes. And it can be a bit tough, because it's like we are like the rose in the bloom now. We are just opening our eyes, and it may be nothing as we expected it to be. And whatever comes up for us on this solar eclipse will only be a part of the story, of course. And the rest of the story will be revealed to us in the next 6 months, because this eclipse will be unfolding in the next 6 months, so we will be receiving news and messages for a very long time, because Mercury is retrograde and Venus is retrograde and Mars is started its direct motion just recently. So there is a lot about the past. We are dealing with the past, and we are able to see the past in a new way and to discover some things from the past that we didn't know of. This is really something that shows us how past is a powerful resource, and we can use it constructively and give it something new. We can change the past. It's not true that we cannot change the past, but not by going back into the past, but by giving it new perspective, expanding our perception, stretching our view, and seeing it with new eyes. This is fiery time. It's a fiery time. And we are encouraged to make leaps and to make fearless choices. This is like finally standing up for myself. But those of us who have very selfish and egocentric wants and needs will also be faced with those things strongly. We are all going to be faced with our own behavior, actions, and reactions. And something may need to burn, but a rebirth from the ashes is destined to follow, and we may feel like we are born again under this energy. We are feeling ourselves, we are turning over a new page, we are rewriting some of the rules that we have chosen to live by. And there's a lot of change, whether we are ready or not. That's why we have to be bold and courageous and ready to take risks and to be fearless. This is why this is the energy of Aries, and we have that power now, and we should all check out where is Aries in our chart. This area of life will be mostly brought to light now. So for example, if it's in the first house, it's about the self and the identity. It's also the Aries house, so it's all amplified. It's all about the self, the personal life, personal relationships, and physical appearance. If it's in the second house, it's about the resources, it's about our priorities, values, finances, money, livelihood. And if it's in the third house, it's about our neighbors, relatives, siblings, our communication, conversations, social media. If it's in the fourth house, it's home and family, it's mother, it's those who feel like family. If it's in the fifth house, it's the children, creativity, business, self-employment, hobbies, gifts and talents. If it's in the sixth house, it's our everyday life, it's lifestyle, it's health, it's work, it's job, tasks, routines, habits. If it's in the seventh house, it's relationships, one-on-one, marriage, spouse, significant others, business partnerships, all our one-on-one relationships. If it's in the eighth house, it's about death, rebirth, transformation, intimacy, sexuality, shared resources, taxes, inheritances. If it's in the ninth house, it's the higher education, it's higher mind, higher meaning, spiritual teachings and teachers. It's long distance travels, it's our beliefs and ideals. It's also legal matters. And if it's in the 10th house, it's our career, profession, our public image, our public role, our role in the world, our relationship with the father, with superiors, with bosses, our own authority. 11th house, it's friends and groups of people, teamwork. It's our older brothers and sisters and those who feel like them. It's our father's family. It's also our long-term goals and dreams. And finally, the 12th house, it's our subconscious realm. It's the spiritual realm. It's our dreams, synchronicities, everything that is invisible, intangible, everything that is, unexplainable and unreachable. It's our addictions, anxieties, our self-healing, our ability to rest and relax, our escapisms. And, just in short, I wanted to go through all of these just to give you a small information about how to perceive this. And so in these areas of your life, everyone will have in different areas of life, this energy of Aries will be very strong, like something pioneering, something new, something bold, something that demands courage from us, something where we have to take risks, something where we have to stand up for ourselves, something where we have to look at who we are in all of that, and where are we in all of that, and how we behave, how we act and react. And this is, huge cosmic green light to start something we've always wanted to start, but something that we didn't have the willpower, we didn't have strength, we didn't have energy, we didn't have courage. Now we have it. We face new ventures and adventures, and this is something that gives us adrenaline, adrenaline rush. And it's like the initial phase of life. We may feel like we are rebirthed. It's the energy of youthness. And no matter how old we are, we may feel really young and full of energy and strength. But also, we may first feel a little bit down. So it's the energy that is going to give us that upside down moment, and we are going to see that things never stay the same for too long. Everything changes quickly. So this is something visible. We are going to see the results. We are going to see events that are significant, and we are needing to do something. We need to communicate. We may have to talk about something from the past, or we may be faced with someone from the past, because Mercury is retrograde in Aries, and we may be dealing with unfinished business, and Venus is retrograde in Pisces. So something that is still hurting us, that we need to forgive. Something or someone from the past will come up in order to be resolved and to be seen with new eyes, with new perspective. And it's impulsive speech, argumentative, impulsive energy, because Mercury retrograde in Aries, where this solar eclipse is happening, words can hurt and words can kill, but words can also heal. So let's all be more aware of the words that we use, because all the words that we use and say can come back to us as a boomerang. So we have to really be aware of what we are talking, and we have a lot of Piscean energy activated, so we have to bring that softness. Venus is in Pisces. We need to be soft also, but also to be sharp. We need to bring balance between being sharp and soft. Somewhere we definitely need to show that fiery, sharp energy, but with wisdom of softness. And we don't want to burn bridges now, It's period of rapid change, and something needs to shift. Something is coming that is very fresh, that is renewed, and something is coming as a blessing. We are going to experience a rain of blessings, something very fortunate in all of this that is going on. We are going to experience something that is very fortunate, and that will show us true values, real values. And especially if we've been chasing something that is not aligned with our priorities anymore, we may get it now, and we may see that we don't want it anymore. But we may get something that we didn't ask for, and we are going to see that this is truly a blessing. So we may lose something, but we are actually gaining something through this loss. And we may not necessarily get the thing that we are hoping for, but something new is coming that we need, that is definitely a blessing for us. And there are circumstances that allow us to plant those seeds that are ready for the growth. We are finding more spiritual meaning in life. Especially, we are finding more meaning in everything that seemed meaningless, especially in the last couple of months. Everything that seemed meaningless, absurd, paradoxical, pointless, everything that seemed hard and heavy will start making sense. And it's really fantastic energy for taking that risk and for going on that adventure, for searching for the golden fleece. And this golden fleece is within us, of course. It's about gaining inner independence, being truly independent. And this doesn't mean that we are not getting anybody's help and support. On the contrary, being independent truly means to be fully authentic and to be true to who we are without feeling weak if we are asking for help. This is a big thing, definitely, because Aries and the sun in Aries, moon in Aries, it's all about the self and me first, and I don't need anybody's help. I can do it all on my own. And Aries part in us doesn't ask for help, it demands help. Support from others is somehow demanded, and it's like seeing others as servants, perhaps. So we may be faced with those kinds of expressions and behaviors too. But Aries is the symbol of youth and of everything that is young and youthful, strong and muscular, related to muscles and physical work too, physicality. So we may see physical conflicts. Some of us may be involved in physical conflicts, so let's be aware of that as well. But let's focus on the creative part of it. We have the power to create something physically with our physical bodies, to create something strong. This is also the creation of the alchemical fire. The creative process is very powerful. And this is Mars is the god of war, but it's also the messenger of vitality. And the key word for all of this is action. Take action. Don't wait, don't procrastinate, don't delay, just take action. Even though Mercury and Venus are retrograde, it doesn't matter. Mars is direct, and let's take some action. Because we haven't been able to take any action while Mars was retrograde, and it's been very difficult for many of us. But now finally we are waking up, we can get up from the bed, we can do things. So let's just take action. And Aries represents an initial cause that comes out from primordial waters of Akasha or ether. And this is about spiritual protection. This is the fire that illuminates and enlightens, the fire of the light bringer too. So the V, the shape of V, the glyph of Aries, and it's also related to victory. And the horns of the ram, this is the combustion also, overexertion, and it can be something that makes us waste our strength for nothing, for competing, only for the sake of competing. So let's also be aware of this. Let's not go into that direction, because we may waste a lot of our energy and strength on nothing. So we have to use our wise receptors as well. So let's be careful in the traffic also, driving cars, in the transport, being careful of incidents, injuries, surgeries. Let's just be more careful of everything. When we are walking through things, our physical body can be hurt. Let's be also careful of sharp objects and fire. This is something we may see happening in the world now. Fire, floods, sharp objects, injuries, incidents, clashes, combustions, all these things. And all these things may happen because, that need to be first, to be seen, to be fast, to come somewhere faster, to show ourselves, our ego selves. And of course, we need ego, but we have, as I always say, to put it into the service of the conscious self. This energy of creation is very powerful, and Aries is the point where the zodiac recycles itself. Aries is a universal winner. So let's be focused on that kind of perspective. And it's a cyclical relationship. One sign is evolving into the next. And it's like a spiral, actually. And the horns are also spiral. We've already passed through this sign. We've already experienced these eclipses, but it's never exactly the same. Every time we experience it again, it's a little bit different. So there is a new spiral, then again new spiral, then again new spiral. It's always different a little bit. We are not moving in circles, we are moving in spirals. And this is a transition point from the old cycle into the new one. And what comes first? What comes first when we are becoming aware of ourselves? It's our identity, acknowledgement of existence. And before we can grow anything, we must first recognize it, identify it, name it. We can't nurture what we don't acknowledge. And Aries is archetypally associated with human identity and personality. So it's a lot about how we identify ourselves. We have to distinguish who we are. And this includes how we project ourselves physically and spiritually into the world. This is the first house, our will, our passions and actions, our ability to take risks and meet the unknown. And, to have that courage to say, I am. And it all begins with the seed of impulse, a spark of something new. And we have to choose those seeds wisely now. And to see what do we really want. And sometimes the seed chooses us. We don't always know what the finished product will look like. We just have to trust the process. And it can be beautiful at first, but it can evolve into something that has thorns. And this is also something that we have to accept. Or the new seed may be put down, can put down roots that initially kill us in some way, and later we can bear fruit that is worth the sacrifice. So nothing is as it seems now. Let's also be aware of that. And we are taking first steps into a new journey. These are first steps. These are baby steps, actually. And let's keep our eyes open. We definitely have to keep our eyes open. And we are able to manage everything that comes up. We are building stability in places where we were unstable. And this is our image also, our physical appearance. And many of us are going through big physical changes, very big physical changes. So let's not forget that Chiron, the wounded healer, is also in Aries, even though it's not very close to this solar eclipse, but it's there. It's also in Aries. And Chiron is, I think, 22nd degree of Aries, and this solar eclipse is happening on the 8th degree of Aries. So also, all of us who have something important on 8 degrees of Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn will feel this the most. And this Chiron, the wounded healer, will also be triggered as well. This is, Chiron is the master of medicine and healing. And these are wounds that are going to be experienced. We have an opportunity to see our identity wounds in a new way. So the glyph of the Chiron looks like a key, and we are going to be given those keys now, definitely. So it's really time for us to understand that, it may feel hard to see all these things and to witness it in a new way. We may have a need to see it in the way we used to see it, but this new light prepares us for many new things that are coming, and there are many new things happening that we cannot avoid, whether we want them or not. We are, just being pushed into that cosmically, into something new. We cannot really choose now. We can only choose how we are going to react on this. Eclipses bring unavoidable things, karmic connections and disconnections, karmic meetings, karmic unions and separations. These are things that are meant to be. Things that happen during eclipses, we don't really have control over them. So we have to really be prepared for this, and to accept that some things definitely have to fall apart and to fall off, so that we can enter this space of seeing and perceiving things with our different views, with different eyes. So we are, as I said, these are blessings actually, and these are things that won't betray us. It's good to store things up, to prepare, and to allow things that threaten us to make us vulnerable or fragile. It's really time to be bold about it, and to make sure that decisions and choices that we are making now are not taken impulsively. And some wounds will be exposed as well. We have to be conscious, to be careful, to take care, to avoid getting trapped into something that we don't want. And this solar eclipse makes us more emotional and more emotionally reactive. And of course we can make mistakes when we are too emotional. Moon can make us nervous as well and impatient. So clash may be possible, but let's not be afraid of it. Let's think of the reasons why are we facing the situations that we don't like. These are karmic reasons, these are spiritual reasons. So, let's just see how we are feeling in all of this. Let's observe ourselves. Everything has a purpose, and there's a level of volatility in all of this. Everything happens for a reason. And we always have choices, and our choices create karma. Of course, there is a range between the good and the bad. There is a ray, and we can choose different ranges of this ray, downward or upward. These energies are running through us, so it's up to us how we are going to it's okay, like this. All these astrological energies that are happening are neutral. They are not good or bad, but they go through us, and we give them the polarity. We give them the taste. We give them identity. So it's definitely what we see is what is inside of us. So we are again faced with our mirrors, Aries and Libra, me versus you. So it can be stressful, but we are going to ask ourselves many questions, and these are going to be warrior questions, and questions will be very important. And one of many questions can be, how can I face my fears in order to evoke courage? So we may be very reactive. Let's all just be aware of how this works. And I will end this forecast with a couple of quotes from Bhagavad Gita is one. It says, "It is better to live your own destiny imperfectly than to live an imitation of somebody else's life with perfection. I will repeat again. It is better to live your own destiny imperfectly than to live an imitation of somebody else's life with perfection. And one more. I think I quoted this one before, but we always have to repeat these things. Why do you worry unnecessarily? Whom do you fear? Who can kill you? The soul is neither born nor dies. And with this, I would end this forecast. And I wish you all a very bold, courageous, daring, inspiring, motivating new moon solar eclipse in Aries. Let's all turn on this spark and follow our passion, and let's be fearless. Love you all and see you in 2 weeks. Bye bye.